Hello! Hi, you guys. Oh, yeah. Twitter is on top of things today. That's not always the case.
Oh.
And also, my Twitter likes to be weird and goes in and tweets things in different languages.
Oh.
Not
weird.
entirely sure. Like you could
That's
follow
very interesting.
our Lives Library Twitter, and it's tweeted in a lot of different languages. It's great. Yeah, it's been interesting for sure. Okay, we're gonna go to Facebook really quick. We're just gonna make sure it went to both accounts because it goes to both my private account and my public page.
Okay.
It went to my private account, so we're just gonna see what happened. Nope, I'm gonna open it right in the YouTube app because when it tries to do anything else, it doesn't quite work. So.
Okay.
Sorry. It's always an adventure starting the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Always an adventure. The people that watch the video are always very much blessed to be able to see things that the audio doesn't get, which I always think is entertaining.
That's cool.
Okay. We're going to one more place, and then we're going to get started. Thanks so much, y'all, for being patient and hanging in while we do this every week.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate it. I don't know why it doesn't always post to this page. Like 9 out of 10 times it does, but not every single time.
That's interesting.
We are live now. Come join us. Smiley face. Okay. So we're gonna get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Liv's Library. Woot! It's a party here every day. Y'all know it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna do a few things to get started. First of all, I just need to put out a public service announcement. If y'all haven't filed your taxes at this point, you should probably stop watching the live stream and go do that because you have a total of 3 hours.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's not enough time if you're filing your own taxes. At least for me, I spent 2 hours this evening trying to do that, and it failed miserably. And now I'm just praying and hoping that I won't be in huge trouble for getting it done late. So, yeah. Go file your taxes, you guys. If you have filed your taxes, welcome to the podcast. You are utilizing your time, energy, and brain cells wisely.
Finished my taxes last week.
You are very wise.
So, yeah.
So brilliant.
I'm wise. It's more on. I felt more lazy in the fact that it was when my dad was doing his taxes. It's like, oh, all right, I'll just pull my stuff together and go with him. So
that's much better than I do.
Yeah.
Clearly. I mean, I was literally crying when you walked through the door tonight. So that's a thing. But Jason, welcome to my library.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. It's really good to be here.
The way that we get started every single week is I get to know you a little bit better and also introduce you to my friends out on the interweb through the forms of the TwitFaceInstaChatTube sphere
Cool
of influence, which is also the title of this podcast episode. And I was very proud of it because I came up with it at like 3 a.m. Yes. Sorry. Little shameless self-plug of my brilliance there. I'm not really brilliant. I'm sorry. Okay, so the questions that I ask to get to know you are very, very important questions. You need to think long and hard before you answer these. But it's also kind of a lightning round, so think long and hard, but short and quick also.
But within like a few seconds.
Yes.
Long and hard in a few seconds.
Exactly.
Okay.
Precisely.
Cool. I'll do my thinking face. It looks like this.
Yes! Those of you watching the video, you just got a glimpse of his beautiful thinking face. It was wonderful.
There you go.
Okay, so first question is, what is your favorite quote?
Behold, my soul delighteth in the things of the Lord.
That's a really good quote.
Yeah.
I like that. Good. Do you care to elaborate on why that is your favorite quote?
It's so there's this book called the Book of Mormon, and in there's this gentleman who writes about his life, and he proclaims that he loves the things of of God, and yet at the same time he struggles to follow his God. And so the full quote goes, "Behold, my brain just like dropped. Behold, something. Yeah,
I delight in the words of.
I delight in the words of the Lord." Man, I lost it.
That's okay.
I had the whole thing memorized, but basically, as it goes, he then turns around and says that he has so many weaknesses, and he wishes that he didn't have those weaknesses, and yet even still, he proclaims to his God that he will basically cast off his weaknesses and do his absolute best to rise up from basically the ashes. So it's really cool. I like that one. It's helped me a lot.
I love that. I think that shines clear on the fact that we are human.
Yes.
And we are weak, but then for so many, it's through those weaknesses that we're made strong, and it's through a trust in a higher being that we are made strong. So I think that's a really cool quote. I like that. Okay, the next question is, what is your current favorite song?
Current favorite song. It would be the song from the first How to Train Your Dragon. The moment where Hiccup is taking what's her face? I forgot her name. Into riding Astrid on the back of the dragon for the first time. It's called The Romantic Flight. That's my favorite song right now.
That's a good song. I recently by recently I mean like a year ago, had a friend who was kind of just a tiny bit obsessed with that soundtrack.
Yeah.
And insisted that I become reintroduced to the music. And I am so grateful that this particular friend insisted so emphatically that I become reintroduced, because it made it so that I was able to get to know the music again. And the music is magical.
It is. It is. And that's my favorite song out of the whole thing, because it kind of showcases everything that the movie's all about is in that one song. In fact, the last month and a half I've been trying to learn it on piano, and I'm not a piano player, but it's a song that has touched me so much that I want to experience it more. And I play the guitar, but the song isn't a guitar song, it's a piano song. So I was like, I need to learn this on the piano. So because as you play music, you become a part of the music, and it's a deeper, richer experience. And that's why I want to learn how to play it. That way I can, it's when you play a song, it's like listening to it for the first time again. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
It's definitely a rediscovery to learn a song for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I find when I play anything on the piano or on any instrument, I discover again the crescendos, the diminuendos. I learn where I feel it, and I realize the song gets loud here because that's how it feels. It's not just because that's what someone else did. It's because that's the natural way of that to sound. So I think you touched on that very well.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, what is a unique fact about yourself?
I have backpacked around the world with only a $2,000 credit card.
And I really want to hear more about that. I think I'm going to have you back and like do a whole podcast on you just explaining your adventures there.
Yes, it would take an entire podcast to do that.
It's going to happen though. It's definitely going to happen. I'm going to have you back on for that. If you want him to come back and tell that story, make sure to go and comment down below and let me know. Okay, this one is for our camera audience.
Okay.
You have to get close to the camera, and then you're going to make your favorite funny face. That's beautiful. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, of course, the audio listeners missed out on that beautiful face. So now you get to do your favorite animal noise. That's very good. That's very good. I enjoy that.
Thanks.
Okay. There's just a few more left. You ready?
Yep. Go
Favorite cheese?
Spaghetti. No, that's not.
No, that's not a cheese.
Sorry, that's just the first word that came to my mind. The white cheese that when you go to Subway and they ask the 3 cheeses that you want on they give you those options of cheddar, I forgot that one, and then the spicy one. It's the one I forgot.
The provolone?
Provolone.
It's your favorite cheese, but you don't remember what it's called. I love that.
Yeah, that's the one.
Are you a big cheese eater?
No.
Okay.
I am now.
Okay.
Like when I was in France, I had a lot of different cheeses, and because I mean when you're staying at people's houses, they want to introduce you to their favorite food, and then majority of the time in France it's some type of cheese. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a big fan of cheese. Unfortunately, that doesn't particularly help my girlish figure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to decide when and where I'm actually going to eat my cheese. But I definitely love cheese a lot.
That's good stuff.
I don't think I have a favorite either because I just love cheese.
I like salty cheeses, so that's why provolone is my favorite. Because it tends to be a little more salty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite cereal?
Granola. I like granola.
Do you just a generic granola? Do you like a specific brand or
generic?
Brand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Generic granola. If I'm really ambitious, I'll make my own granola,
Ooh.
and that's a lot of fun. And it takes like 3 cups of oats, a cup of mixed nuts without peanuts, and Apple Jacks. Not Apple Jacks, the Captain Crunch. There we go. And
All right.
A box of Captain Crunch.
All right. And then do you eat this plain, with milk, or with yogurt?
Yogurt.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably my favorite way to eat granola too,
Yeah.
with yogurt. Gives a little more substance. Makes
Oh.
it last a little longer.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. So I take the yogurt and then I also add a little bit of water to make the yogurt less thick.
Okay.
That way it's more milk, you know, and that's how I like my granola.
Okay. Like
With some fruit on top too, like some mango and maybe some bananas.
Wow, you've got some good
It's,
ideas there. Okay, so this last question is the one that I was telling you about that will kind of introduce the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I try and do the segue. If you know how to do a segue, cool. And we'll see how this goes, okay? So this question is 2-tiered. First question, are you reading any good books lately? What is your most current book that you're either reading or just finished?
So I just finished in the last 2 weeks 3 different books that I'd love to talk about. Actually.
Okay.
So the first one was The Only Pirate at the Party from Lindsay Sterling. Yes, that was great.
That's the next on my book.
It was worth a read.
Was it?
It was.
Good.
The second one was a biography on Elon Musk. And if you don't know who he is, he's the he was the founder of PayPal and the owner of Tesla Motors, SpaceX, and SolarCity. He's basically a billionaire, type of guy.
Kind of a brilliant man.
He's a big guy in the tech industry.
And is he involved in the Silicon Valley area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. That's cool. So is the book, so it's a biography written by someone else then, or is it an autobiography?
It's an autobiography written by someone else. Did I say that right? No, it's audible. When I read books, I'm thinking audible. So when you say autobiography, I'm thinking
You're good. You listen to it, the audio version.
Yeah,
so it's a biography because it's written by somebody else.
Yes.
Autobiography meaning he wrote it himself.
No, it was written by someone else. Yes.
That's really cool. So was it someone he knew, or is it someone who just kind of like learned about him and decided to write a book?
It was a reporter who was determined to write a book about Elon Musk, whether he liked it or not.
Okay.
That's what it was.
That's cool.
And it was really interesting, his story. Like when he was a child, he was from South Africa, came to America because America has better options for success, I guess. And then it just kind of goes through his story of becoming who he is today. And it's really interesting, mostly because that's kind of, I want to be someone like Elon Musk one day. Not so much as crazy as he is, maybe. My favorite people would be more like would be the Mr. Hershey, who did Hershey chocolate. And he was awesome. Or Disney. Disney was also awesome, Mr. Disney. And like those older gentlemen, they not only had dreams and passions and they pursued those dreams, but they were in pursuit of those dreams to help others, to help others to live their dreams and to make their life successes. And that's what I like about them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I'm not familiar with who this gentleman is that you're talking about, but I am very familiar with Milton Hershey and Walt Disney. Yes. And I've read multiple biographies on both. And they are men that I would aspire to be like, because I think that it is, you hit it right on the head. The reason why I would aspire to be like them is because they had no problem admitting that they were looking for success and they were working for success. That's not a bad thing, and they understood that. But they also understood that if they hurt people to get to the top, then that's what made it a bad thing. And so they made it an effort to bring other people to the top too, and to make it a joint effort and to make it worth everyone's while. I think that is a unique thing that you find fewer and farther between.
Yes, I agree. And that's also the same reason why they're so, I find them so amazing. And I went to Hershey Park or Hershey Town, and that's in Pennsylvania. And this town is so cool. He designed this town based off of the different chocolates and things like that. So you have these lamps that have kisses on top, and things like that.
That's so cool.
And every house is so unique. And this entire place was built with love and respect for his workers. And that's what, I feel so connected with this guy. It's that's what I want to do. I want to build a society, a community that shows love. And it's anyway.
I love that. Okay, so the second tier to this question then is, how have these books and these people affected your life and helped you improve?
Let's see. The story on Lindsay Sterling, it helped me improve because of her. She shared an experience of overcoming a weakness that she had, and how she was able to overcome that gave me some examples in my life that I could improve on, things that I felt I could let go of now, things like that, and just kind of accept my flaws and be happy for who I am,
Yeah.
And for Elon Musk, it was I learned a valuable lesson on focus. This gentleman, when he sets his mind to something, he focuses until it's done. You know, and not only that, but he somehow inspires other people to jump on board. You know, it's like I'm getting better at focusing, and I'm still struggling on trying to like inspire other people to jump on board. Like that's something I want to do, because you can never accomplish anything in life being alone. Like the only way you can accomplish anything of great worth is by inspiring other people to join you on that cause.
I would agree with you wholeheartedly. I think someone who I find to be a very, very big proponent of that message and that thought is someone who's on YouTube, and her name is Lily Singh. She goes by Superwoman. She's actually a friend of Lindsay Sterling's.
Oh, cool.
And I adore her so much. She is probably, of all the people that I genuinely feel like I have gotten to know through the years. And I mean, I've gotten to know her because she is on social media, not because I've ever actually met her. I would like to aspire to meet her at some point. But I very much look up to her because she has a passion for happiness, and her message is like, what is it? Less fear, less hate, one love. And I mean, it's beautiful, and she talks about it all the time. The way that she ends every single one of her videos, she says, one love, Superwoman, and she does this like little thing there, and I mean, makes an S with her fingers, and then she says, you know, that's a wrap. And that's how she ends all of her videos. And she reminds everyone at the end of every single one of her videos, however funny they are, she's definitely a comedic personality. She's a very funny individual, but she still has passion for goodness in the world, and she does what she can to use her platform to include everyone else in this as well. And I think that she is such a good example of like reaching out, focusing on something, and then getting everyone else to also hone in and feel involved as well. It's really, really cool when you look at her Twitter, or you look at her Facebook, or you even see, you know, the comments underneath her videos. Frequently you see people saying like, hey, I was going through a really, really rough time, and I found one of your videos and it helped me. You know, like the idea of one love helped me realize that I not only need to love myself, but I need to love other people, and, you know, otherwise like creating happiness and joy in the world. And I think that it's just so cool.
That is cool. Wow, yeah.
She's amazing. You need to look her up. Maybe
I
I'll
will.
show you one of her videos or something.
Yeah, definitely
afterwards.
send me a message.
She's really, really cool. So I think in the way to kind of tie it together into the topic that we're talking about, which is TwitFaceInstaChatTube.
Social media, basically, right?
Social media. I had texted you about that a little earlier today. I was just like, hey, I kind of want to talk about social media and like our presence on it. And then you had texted me back, and one of the things that you had said was, I want to talk about the different types of people there are in social media. I was like, that's a brilliant conversation. So, I mean, I kind of talked about Lily Singh, and you brought up Lindsay Sterling as two people who have a presence on the internet. But I think that I want to know what your ideas are of the different types of people on social media.
Well, cool. Well, let's get right into it.
Okay.
So there's 5 different types of people on social media, but let's actually take it a step back and say there's 5 different types of people in any social setting.
Okay. I was gonna make a joke and say the Twitter tweeters, the Facebook followers. I was gonna make a joke because there were 5 platforms that I used to make the title of this podcast.
Nice.
But I will not say anymore. Continue.
So there's, and even though there's 5, the names are slightly different when it comes to just like in general social groups. So we're going to take a step forward again and just talk about the names of the different types of people on social media.
Okay.
So the first person that we know and very obvious is the organizer, or what we know as the content creator. This is the person who creates the content and posts it. This is the that's as basic as it gets, right?
Okay, so I have a question for you on that one then. For example, I mean, I'm going to kind of use this because I'm just like thinking about it in terms of myself. I try to create content and post it on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or whatever else. And I try to, specifically when I'm thinking posting content, I think of YouTube, uploading those videos, whatever. But I don't particularly consider myself organizer. So what would you have to say? I am definitely not a very organized person. I am like pulling my hair out all the time because I'm stressed about the things that I'm doing. Now, I mean, I am organized to a point, but I'm also very, very stressed due to the lack of organization that is in certain things. So what would your answer be to something like that, where there's a content creator who wouldn't necessarily feel organized?
Right. Well, a content creator basically draws people in. He organizes, or she organizes the group. Kind of, they're the ones that people follow. Well, this is a little tricky because there's two different types of people in the 5 that people follow.
Okay.
So you have, and I kind of got them confused there. You have the content creator, and then you have the I keep on remembering this one, forgetting this one. They're both organizers in their sense that they have a following.
Okay.
So the other one is a, how do I say this? It's the best way to say is organizer or company, or basically this is the individual that Facebook itself, the platform, is considered an organizer.
Okay.
All right. Or a company that sponsors your podcast would also be considered an organizer. He would also be, oh, there we go. Sponsor would also be the next word. That's the next best way to describe it, would be a sponsor. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter would be an organizer or a sponsor of this platform that you're using.
Okay.
So there's that one. Then you have the content creators. Then you have, so there's the 2. The next one is your raving fans. Is one way of saying it, or patrons.
Okay.
So is another common one that people use. They're the people who just love you, and they will basically support you any way they possibly can. So if you have a Patreon account, they will support you on Patreon. If you have a live event, they will show up at the event. These are your raving fans. And the next one on the list of 5 is the viewer, and just the casual viewer who goes in. They perhaps just to come across your page. Maybe this person follows you, but they're not a raving fan in the sense that they watch everything you post or support you in crazy ways. You know, they enjoy your content casually. So this is the viewer. Most of us are like that. And lastly is the troll. we all know the troll. And this is the person who it's hard to describe them online. So I'm going to take this a step back again and describe the troll from just a social setting.
Okay.
In the social setting, this person is known as the outcast, the person who just doesn't fit in, you know? And they're this way because of the thoughts they have. When I was younger, I was an outcast. I was an awkward child. I was this weird person that just didn't know how to fit in. And people basically would kind of like shoo me away, you know, in a sense. And it was because of thoughts I allowed myself to have, of asking, why is it that I don't fit in? Why is it that everyone is talking so fast? I can't like jump in and share, you know? I can't share my thoughts, or my thoughts were just so randomly out there. I wasn't present in the moment. And because of that, I would become discouraged and depressed, and basically all these negative feelings would build up inside me. And it's those negative feelings that then are expressed outward through my actions, whether they may be just sitting there with a straight look on my face because I'm now thinking too much and I'm not present anymore. And that, from an outside point of view, it looks like I'm not enjoying the moment. And that person next to me is probably thinking, I wonder if I did something wrong, you know? So, but no one knows what's going on in here, so they assume the worst. And it's those negative thoughts that come out through your actions, whether your words are blunt and just like, or whatever the case may be. Anyway, so that's the outcast. And what separates the outcast or the troll from a casual viewer is that negative or positive comment that's left online. And that would be the difference between the two. So
okay, I would say in regards to the raving fan versus the viewer versus the troll, the raving fan will leave a positive comment on every single video.
Oh yeah.
The casual viewer very rarely leaves a comment because they just enjoy it enough to maybe hit the like button.
Yep.
Like, and for me, I don't consider myself a raving fan for most people, but I do enjoy the videos I watch and the content that I watch enough that I understand that a like will benefit them. So I'm like, all right, I can hit the like button. I know a comment might help them too, but I don't particularly want to be like, I love you so much, because I don't. And there's also a million other people that posted that said, I love you so much, and I just don't want to be another one of those people. And then the troll is going to be like, your lamp moved 1/4 of an inch in every different frame. What was going on? Did you have an earthquake? You know, like, I mean, and they're not even like super awful comments. They're just like comments that are so unnecessary. I think more often than not, you think of the troll as not necessarily, I mean, for me, I've never thought like troll as being someone who's going to be like hateful comments, like you should kill yourself. I think that is a person all of their own that doesn't quite fit into any of those categories. And they're just like, I hate the world and everything in it. And I don't know exactly why they feel that way. I think that they just are struggling and have a lot of pain in their lives or something. And so they take it out on everything and everyone that they meet.
Yep, that's probably the case.
I think it's probably even one step further than the troll. Because the troll is going to make obnoxious comments, but at the end of the day, they're things that some people might laugh at because they're just obnoxious and kind of stupid. Yeah. Whereas the hateful comments, everyone's like, all right, dislike, block, flag. Like, I mean, you've got enough of the raving fans who are like, ah! You know, and I think that those people get shot down really fast.
It's true. It's true. So, yeah, those are the 5 basic ones.
Okay, that's very interesting. Yep. So I guess a question, I consider myself probably all but the sponsor one in certain aspects. For you, kind of where do you feel like you fit in those 5? Do you feel like you fit in more than one category?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think everyone fits in almost every category, and literally almost every category. I mean, I'm sure there's some YouTube video on there that you would troll if you knew it existed.
Totally trolled. I 100% have been that person who trolled. I don't leave terrible comments. I will never ever be the one that's like, I hate you. But I have been the one that's like, you pronounced this word wrong. And I more so did it because I knew that there were either 1, other people that did it, or 2, I knew it was like an inside joke that someone else would understand. That to me is trolling. It's just being obnoxious.
Yes, yes. And that's the classic one. Sometimes that's healthy.
Yes.
It is. Which one do I fit in most? I would say I am a content creator most. So I'm a content creator and an organizer. Okay. So, yeah, that's the way I describe it. I don't know where else to go into that. I do also watch a lot of YouTube videos and follow a lot of different people online. So I do fit in that practically every single category. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Although another good question to ask too is, okay, now you know the 5, how do you then use that knowledge? Like as a podcast, as a content creator, then how do I find more raving fans? You know, or how do I change from being the content creator to an organizer? So I can, if that's where your strengths are, is organizing people, then how do I inspire a content creator to be on my team? You know, these are the different questions that then you must ask. And after you know, those are the 5 people.
Yeah. I think one thing that I found, this is going to be a ridiculous, stupid comment, but it's not stupid, but it's a comment that reflects what's currently happening with me, my life, my channel, and what I'm doing as a content creator. The way that I have found, quote unquote, raving fans is I have made friends with these people in person and then they decide that they like me enough that they want to check in and follow all the podcasts every week. And I think that that is how I develop raving fans.
Mm-hmm.
I develop a casual viewer by just saying, hey, JT is going to be on my podcast tonight. If you know him, come and follow it. You know, watch the podcast. And I mean, I post that on Facebook, and occasionally people are like, oh, I have nothing to do tonight. Let's see what this is, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how you get the casual viewer, at least in my experience. Trolls, I randomly have a stranger who is a troll on every single one of the podcasts. This is podcast 16. I think he has been absent from the last like 4, but he was a troll for like the first, 14, not 14, I can't do math, 11 podcasts. He called himself Bob Saget, and he was probably my favorite person commenting in the comments. And he was like everybody else's favorite too. Everybody knew he was a troll, but everyone else was kind of playing along with him enough that he was just great. And it was hilarious. Someone actually brought that up in the comments, was saying, Bob Saget, he's the troll. And I was like, yeah, he totally is.
That's cool.
So, I mean, and that's this random person. I still to this day have no idea who this is. Pretty sure it's someone I don't know and someone who just randomly found it on like Twitter or something.
Oh,
and then decided they liked it enough to come back. I have no clue who this person is. But I feel like it's not anyone I know personally. I really kind of hope it's not anyone that I know personally. But it's definitely entertaining for me. So for you, having a little bit of experience in a different way than I do on social media, do you have any recommendations for like how to improve overall success on the internet, or maybe how to and I mean, this is something that I have a lot of people reaching out to me saying, hey, you are doing something, how can I do it too? And I was like, I got started and I just did it, and I literally talked to everybody about it. That's how you know about it, because I was like, we were at the same church organization. That's perfect
advice right there, is just get started, be consistent at content, just making content, posting it, making content, posting it, making content, posting it, and then like talking about it with everyone. So that's definitely a great place to start, because that will get you somewhere. Mm-hmm. Another thing I would add too is define your values. Define what separates you from the other YouTube channels or other podcasts. And then also define like what those values are. What is it that you love? What is it that you want to share within this? Mm-hmm. And understanding your core values deeper and deeper helps you to connect with people faster. So you find raving fans through random happenstance instead of one-on-one. But one-on-one, where you go up and talk to people and you develop a relationship with them, perfect way of developing raving fans, yes.
It's also terrifying though, because if your friendship with those people ends, then you lose viewers. That's not why, obviously, but like I've learned that too.
Yeah, that does happen. But then understanding what your values are, and understanding who is looking for those values, the type of people who want to receive those values from you, and then knowing where those people hang out, what type of Facebook groups are they a part of, being a part of those Facebook groups and sharing the values you have with them, either through comments or even sharing your posts with them. It's through that process that you then find more raving fans.
I like that. I think that's really good. In your experience on social media, what is your, okay, so here's, I guess, a two-tiered kind of question. do you have a platform on every form of social media, or at least the
No.
top five that are mentioned in this particular
No,
title?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
What social media platforms do you use?
I use Instagram, Facebook, a little bit of YouTube, maybe Twitter. That's it.
Okay.
But I've just recently started using Twitter,
Okay.
and I don't actually do it very often. I like Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason why is because there's certain values and that I have that some of those platforms don't apply to me.
Okay.
So let's see, what are the five again? We have.
I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. Is all incorporated into the title of this episode.
Okay. So let's see here. Let's talk about basically, I guess, the values that I broadcast online. Right?
Okay.
So my number one core value that is spread across every platform that I do is to inspire and uplift. And that is my core values. Now, I could do that through any of those platforms, right? All right. So now my strengths, however, in the way that I connect with people is through visual and audio. And so that's how I connect. That's why I don't use Twitter so much. I do use Instagram because it's an image, so it's more visual. I use Facebook because I can post videos on Facebook as well as YouTube, and that's connection with video, visual and audio. So it's understanding my how I like to communicate. And have you ever read the book The 5 Love Languages?
Yes.
Okay, so there's these 5 love languages that people communicate through, and understand those are considered values as well, in the sense that you value communicating through this form of connection, and it's those ways of connection that you then receive back as well. And when I communicate through those ways of connection, most of the time I will receive the same response through those connections, and that's how I like to receive it. I don't so much like reading, so I don't read things very often, except for my audiobooks, which isn't really reading, right? Yeah. And if I do need to read something, I have my computer read it to me most of the time. So that's one of the ways that people communicate online is through texting and messaging, emails and things like that. That's not a strength of mine, and it's not a value I like to broadcast through. Okay. So, and that's why certain ones I use and certain ones I don't.
Okay. As you were talking about that, I was kind of thinking a little bit about like what the answer was for me in regards to and I realized that I use all 5 of those particular. I would probably say those 5 are the core social media platforms. They're the ones that I feel are used most. I mean, there's also Tumblr, and there's LinkedIn and Pinterest and Reddit. Is it Reddit? Periscope. Oh my gosh, I love Periscope so much.
Goodreads.
Yeah, yes. I mean, there's a lot of really great social media platforms out there, but I feel like these are probably the largest ones.
Google Plus.
Yes. I feel like they're all very great ones. And I realized I started with Facebook, and I started with Facebook with the pure intent of just like keeping in connection with people that I know who do not live where I live. And that's, I mean, more than anything, like I don't reach out to everybody I know on a consistent basis and say, hey, how are you doing? Like in a phone call or a text message. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people, and I genuinely care about the people I know, but I don't have the time to reach out to all those people. If you look on my Facebook, I believe I have 1,600 friends on Facebook.
Wow.
I know each and every one of them individually.
Wow.
I feel very blessed to be able to say I know them all, and then also I'm proud to say that I know every person that I have connected through Facebook with, whether I've met them in person or we've communicated through messaging enough that I feel like I know them well enough. And I typically won't accept a friend request until I've communicated with them and I feel like I know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then I might accept their friend request. And that's kind of how it's been for my personal page for a long time.
Right. I'm on the same mindset.
And I started sending out like a text message to a bunch of people every day. And I was doing my daily quote of the day. And I would just post a quote or I would text a quote. And then I was texting it to Facebook too. And this is when you could like text it to a number and then like upload. And I think you still can do that. But yeah, that was before I had a smartphone that had an app and I could use it. And then I figured out Twitter was a brilliant way to do this because Twitter is a short, you have 140 characters to get a message across. And I was like, what better way to use that platform than to share a quote every single day? So if you go back to the beginnings of my Twitter, first I made some really stupid posts. I'm pretty sure I created Twitter originally because there was one person that had a Twitter that I really wanted to follow. And I think that's why a lot of people originally created Twitter. There was one person who they wanted to follow. But then I realized that it was actually a platform I could really use. And so I started using it every day. I was posting a quote every single day. And I don't do it every single day now, but it's still a place where I post a quote frequently. And I realized that that was a really good place for me to be able to share like positive and uplifting words, which were the thing that got me through some very trying times in my life. And then I got YouTube because YouTube was a thing. And then I got Instagram, and then I got Snapchat. And I think the only reason why Snapchat came after Instagram is because Snapchat literally came after Instagram. I probably would have gotten Snapchat first and then gone to Instagram, but Snapchat wasn't a thing when I finally moved to Instagram. And I was one of those people who was like, I'm not going to Instagram. I can share pictures on Facebook. But then I realized that a lot of people were posting on Instagram, and I thought, okay, I should probably at least get on there and figure out what it is. And now I love it. It's not necessarily something that I post on regularly, but it's something that I love. And I feel like, and it was mentioned in the comments, each has a target audience and a target benefit and a target purpose. And I think that that's very powerful to recognize and realize. I realized that each and every one of them, as I was getting them, was because what I wanted to do on social media, the presence I wanted to put out there, didn't necessarily change, but it evolved. And had things added to it. And I realized there were different ways in which I could do what I wanted to do. And so I think that's why I currently have a social media presence at all. It's because I knew what I wanted to do, and I know what I want to do, and I've realized what platforms are going to help me best to get there.
That's awesome. And that's basically spot on. Yeah, that's how I look at it as well. And the fact that I am on certain social media platforms because those are the ways that I want to broadcast out to the world. But you and I are both content creators. So that separates us slightly from the viewer, in the sense that the viewer is going to look at their questions is where is the most easiest way that I can absorb content, what way do I love absorbing content? And yeah, it's not that much different, but it's similar. Yeah.
No, I would agree with you on that. As a viewer, I mean, I think we both are viewers as well of different people. As a viewer, who is maybe someone that you take content from, or you learn from, or you view on a regular basis, whether as a raving fan or just as a casual viewer? Who is someone who has kind of made an impact on you in that sense?
So I'm a raving fan of a YouTube channel called Extra Credits.
Okay.
They are all about video games, which is funny because I'm not a video game player. I'm not a big fan of video games as they are now. But I'm a huge fan of what they can be.
Okay.
That's I aspire to have a video game company that makes video games that inspire and uplift people and teach skill sets and things like that.
How exactly, I mean, I'm curious, how exactly do you plan on doing that? What are some ideas in which, I mean, does this channel give you ideas?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like what exactly? Elaborate on.
So that's one of
that idea.
That's one of the things that this channel and I value. Like, we share the same value of inspiring people to live better lives through video games,
Okay.
and to educate people through video games. And right now, I'm in the process of doing that with a group called Firebox. So we meet every Wednesday at 6 p.m. down in Salt Lake City at a place called Church and State. And we just get together to learn and teach each other how to make video games.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So it's fun. And we've been meeting for less than a month, off and on. And it's now that we officially have a location, we've set up the location only in the last week or so, that we're going to be meeting regularly now, and I'm really excited about that.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Is this a thing that you're hoping to maintain long term?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
My ultimate vision in life is to change the education systems of the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
that is a lofty goal.
And Firebox is the first step. Is to gather people together around the common goal and value of making video games that inspire and uplift.
Okay, so give me an idea of a video game that would inspire and uplift. Like, how can you really learn good skills and like from a video game?
So the most basic one that we've come up with that we're in the process of making. Imagine something like Maze Runner. Okay. 2D side scroller. Are you familiar with like lingo of game design?
A little bit.
So actually, think more Mario Kart. That'd be more like it.
Okay.
So Mario Kart with the interaction of like Maze Runner or Flappy Birds, where the only thing you can do is push the button and it jumps. That's all you can do, and you have to avoid these things on the screen. So someone just stole your cookie, and you have to go after this guy. And in the process of chasing this dude who has stolen your cookie, you have to avoid people and things like that. And it will flash on the screen the name of the thing, but in a different language. And it will also say the name of the thing in a different language. So as you go through this game and you're avoiding all these obstacles, you hit them and it says, oh no, you just hit something, you have to start from the beginning, or it's slowing you down, he's officially gotten your cookie this time, type of thing, you lose. But in that process, it's teaching you a different language. By the end of the game, by the end of the first level, you should know at least 60 words, because they're passing you constantly, and it's all being absorbed. This is designed with all the different things that we know about the brain and how the brain works and how we interact, and the process of acting with the visual and the audio responding to you, and the purpose of trying to get after this cookie. And it's a different purpose than trying to learn the language. Because of all that set up, it's set up in a way that helps you learn the language a lot faster. At least that's what it is in theory of studying all these different mind processes and things like that.
So the idea essentially would be to like take the concept of Duolingo, which is a language learning app, being able to read and hear and say the words or the phrases while playing a game, so that you're subconsciously learning it rather than like pulling aside time to consciously learn it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So this is a game that you can sit down and play while sitting on the pot, type of thing. And there's no effort involved. It's all you're doing is you're trying to avoid these things that you're trying to catch your cookie, this thief. And the game itself in that process is designed to just be fun, but subconsciously it's constantly throwing all these names and sounds at you in different languages, which, have you ever played a game before and you've played it for so long that you don't even need to have the volume on, that you instantly know what it sounds like? You see Mario, and Mario hits that question mark box, and you instantly know in your mind what that sounds like. It's a da-ding, you know? That's memorized subconsciously in your brain. There is no effort involved in making that memory. And the same thing goes with replacing that da-ding with a box in Spanish. You know? Yeah.
That's a really cool idea. I think that would be a very interesting thing to see. I would be very interested to see how that turns out. That would be really cool.
Yep.
I wish you luck with that one.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, so as we're kind of nearing the end of this particular podcast, and we've talked a little bit about social media, the different ideas that we have, the different concepts, different types of people on social media, different people who have different presence on social media. Is there anything that you would like to add, or maybe something that you have learned either through this discussion or through other things that you've been able to experience that could help either yourself grow or the viewers grow, or maybe it's something that is good to have reiterated? Is there anything that you would like to kind of share in closing?
Oh, I'd actually like to ask you, what are the different things that you've found over the years that have helped you build an audience on social media?
On Twitter, I have so many followers on Twitter just because of those quotes. And by so many, I mean I have a couple thousand. So it's not a lot, but I mean that's a lot of people. That's more than I know in real life, like on a basis where I would actually be able to communicate with people. But due to the fact that I was posting just an uplifting quote, I realized that I was getting people following me because they needed that inspiration, and they realized I was a place that they could potentially find that inspiration. Sometimes I was sharing quotes that were of my own. Frequently, I was posting things that were thoughts that I'd had that I found to be uplifting or positive in my life, just things that I personally that I started sharing as a quote of the day. And sometimes, you know, I post my message to the world, and the way that I want to communicate with people is to encourage everyone to realize that they have a beauty within them, and then also to recognize the beauty that is all around you. And I think that once you can realize that there is beauty in the world and there's beauty in yourself, then life is wonderful. And if you can't realize that, then life is a problem. And I just want to help other people and myself, because this is a daily effort for me. And I recognize that since it's a daily effort for me, there's other people who are struggling with it too. And I want, while I recognize the beauty in my life, to be able to, in every form, inspire or help others also recognize the beauty in the world. I think the only other way that I've really gained a lot of genuine followers is by being a genuine follower myself. On Instagram, I get people following me and get people commenting and liking my pictures when I'm commenting and liking on theirs too. You have to be an active participant of both sides. You have to be posting pictures regularly, and you have to be commenting on other pictures regularly. You need to be posting videos, and you also need to be communicating with others as well. You have to create a presence on both sides as both a content creator and a viewer. And that's where I find I get the more genuine followers, the more genuine people who care and keep coming back for more, and really do want me to succeed, and in turn know that I want them to succeed too.
That's awesome.
How would you answer that same question?
I'd say it's the same lines of understanding what your values are that you want to give to the world, and be consistent at providing those values. And like you said, basically I'm just re-saying what you just said. I'm just kind of using a few different words. And then, yeah, I agree on the lines of following the people that inspire you, and be consistent at responding to them, and commenting and supporting them, giving them value, because in that process of connecting with them, you build a relationship, and they in turn, if what you're doing validates what and what they're doing, they'll follow you. I would also encourage reaching out to, and not only like commenting, but also reaching out to them and asking them to be a host on your podcast or something on that lines. Because it's when you already have organizers and followers who already, not followers, organizer and content creators who have a large following, and you are able to line up your values with them and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's something that would benefit your audience as well. Could you be on my podcast? You know, and it's when they do that and they accept it, they come on into your podcast, and in that process, they bring probably half their following with them, and then that also raises your viewing.
I think that's great. That's great. Okay, so this kind of brings us to the end of this podcast. There is one final question that I like to ask at the end. Those of you watching at home, you know what time it is. Make sure to comment below and participate in this particular part of the podcast as well. I love reading your comments. It makes me so happy. Remember, everything that you put in the live chat, it doesn't stay when the video is over. So make sure that after the video is posted, come back, click the like button if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button if you want to know more, and then also make sure to comment answering this question and any other questions or comments you might have, so that I know what you want to know, and then we can learn more together in this wonderful space called Liv's Library. So the question I have for you as the final question of the podcast, you and I will both answer. What has been your weekly obsession? In the last week, what have you been most obsessed with?
Practicing the piano. That's been the most thing I've been obsessed with, because I am this close to memorizing the song, the Romantic Flight. And as soon as I have everything memorized, from that point on, it's just a matter of practice, getting faster and faster and faster at it, and then I'll have it down. I'm that close. It's like have you noticed? Have you ever watched like a YouTube video and you can jump forward pushing the 1 through 9?
Mm-hmm.
So I am at 8 right now. So I have 9 and 0 left to go. It's like I'm almost there. I'm learning this song. So
that's awesome.
That's my obsession. What's yours?
My weekly obsession has been a guy who I follow on Snapchat, and that's where I originally found him. I might have watched something on Periscope once of him where he talked about his Snapchat. That might have been where I discovered him, but I followed him on Snapchat, and I watch all of his snaps, and I've recently gone back out into other social media and not necessarily reached out, but started making myself more of a presence in his life and his posting, because he is someone that I look up to very much. His name is Chris Messenger. He is an entrepreneur, a motivational, not necessarily a motivational speaker, but he teaches how to make money, how to stay physically fit, how to remain healthy. He's trained a lot of people who, like a lot of athletes who've worked in the NFL, NCAA. I mean, he's worked with a lot of really important people, to say the least. He knows Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor has made a lot of, if you don't know who Bob Proctor is, Google that name. He's worked with him on multiple occasions, had him as a guest on some of his videos, and he is a very humble but very knowledgeable person who knows what he's talking about and encourages other people. He has kind of a self-help program that you can purchase through his website. It's chrismessenger.org, I think. And he just recently created a group on Facebook that, because I watched his Snapchats, I knew about, and I was able to participate, and I was one of the first 5 people in the group who was able to participate and join in. And it's going to be a very big group, and it's going to be something that I think a lot of people are going to be involved in. But I've been obsessed with him, and not necessarily with him, but with the message that he shares and with the positivity that he brings into the world. And through watching him, I've been able to learn and grow and improve my life. And so he's definitely someone that I would recommend other people learn more about.
What was his name again?
Chris Messenger.
Is there going to be a comment below? to
Yes,
find Chris
yes.
Messenger?
In the link below, in the description, I'm going to have a link to Chris's website as well as a link to the song that you're learning, because I think that it is a very powerful song. And I think that it's a lot of fun to be able to learn what other people's weekly obsessions are. Again, don't forget to comment below. Let me know what your weekly obsessions are, because I absolutely love learning those. And sometimes your weekly obsession becomes mine. So it's a lot of fun to be able to interact with you guys. Again, thanks so much for joining me this week at Liv's Library. Thank you for co-hosting and joining me here this week.
Thanks for having me.
If you want to know more about this guy, I will also be posting his social media stuff down below so that you can find him as well. Don't forget to smile, know that I love ya, and stay beautiful. Mwah.